Welcome to today's Psych with Sigmund, where we explore the fascinating world of psychology. I'm your host, Sigmund, and today we're going to dive into the concept of source monitoring. This psychological phenomenon refers to our ability to identify the origins of our thoughts, feelings, and memories. In other words, it's about recognizing where our information comes from and being able to distinguish between what we've experienced firsthand and what we've learned from others. Source monitoring is a crucial aspect of human cognition as it helps us navigate the complexities of social interaction, decision-making, and even our own sense of identity. The concept of source monitoring emerged in the 1980s. With researchers like Marcia Johnson and her colleagues making significant contributions to our understanding of this phenomenon. They proposed that source monitoring is a cognitive process that involves the retrieval of information from memory and the evaluation of its origins. One of the key theories underlying source monitoring is the idea that our brains are constantly processing and evaluating information from various sources, including our senses, memories, and social interactions. This theory is often referred to as the source monitoring framework. According to this framework, our brains use a variety of cues, such as context, semantics, and sensory details, to determine the origin of a particular piece of information. Research has shown that source monitoring is closely linked to other cognitive processes, like attention, working memory, and executive functions. For example, studies have found that individuals with better working memory capacity are more accurate at attributing sources of information. Additionally, neuroimaging techniques have revealed that source monitoring involves a network of brain regions, including the prefrontal cortex, temporal lobe, and parietal lobe. But what does this mean in real-life terms? How can understanding source monitoring help us in our everyday lives? Well, for one, it can make us more critical thinkers. By being aware of the sources of our information, we can evaluate the credibility of news articles, social media posts, and even our own memories. This is especially important in today's digital age, where misinformation and disinformation can spread quickly. In therapeutic settings, source monitoring can be a powerful tool for treating conditions like anxiety, depression, or post-traumatic stress disorder. By helping clients identify and challenge negative thought patterns, therapists can promote more adaptive coping strategies and improve mental health outcomes. For instance, a client with PTSD might have difficulty distinguishing between their own memories and those suggested by others. A therapist can help the client develop source monitoring skills to reevaluate the accuracy of their memories and reduce the impact of traumatic experiences. Another practical application of source monitoring is in education. Teachers can use this concept to promote critical thinking and media literacy among students. By encouraging students to evaluate the credibility of sources and consider multiple perspectives, teachers can help them develop a more nuanced understanding of complex issues. This is particularly important in today's world, where students are constantly bombarded with information from various sources. In addition to these examples, source monitoring has implications for our social interactions and relationships. When we're able to accurately attribute the source of information, we're better equipped to navigate conflicts, communicate effectively, and build trust with others. This is because we're more likely to recognize biases, misconceptions, and misunderstandings that can arise from misattributed information. As we conclude our exploration of source monitoring, remember that this concept is not just a dry psychological theory. It has real-world implications for how we think, feel, and behave. By cultivating greater awareness of our sources, we can become more discerning consumers of information, better friends, and more compassionate individuals. So, the next time you're scrolling through social media or reading a news article, take a moment to evaluate the source and consider the potential biases or limitations. That's all for today's Psych with Sigmund. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, may your ego find balance between pleasure and reality.